Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start out by getting the bottom of the actual drawer itself. Now, I've moved inside in order to avoid the gnats, so bear with me on the lighting. But nonetheless, what I'm doing is I've got right here, I've got a 18 by 40 sheet of 1/2 inch plywood, and then a 6 by 40 sheet of 1/2 inch plywood. And I'm going to basically just make a box out of this. And this is going to be the drawer that sits in the bottom of the sleeping platform. On top of this will sit the chuck box or kitchen box. Here's an issue that I'm running into. Even with drilling pilot holes, I'm still getting, the wood is still splitting. Yeah. As you can see, it's done it on both. So I'm not sure what I can do to fix that. Alright, so we have a box. Now I'm going to make a little sliding countertop for this thing. The first attempt didn't work out as good. As you can see, it kind of split the wood there. What I'm doing is putting this little piece right here so a top board can kind of ride along it. And also my screws are too long. So what I'm going to do with this next one is actually just glue it. Alright, so that is it right there. And as you can see up at the top here, I've got a little sliding kind of a counter piece for this drawer. Well, your stuff's going to go in here, and this is not by any means a permanent solution to the back of the truck. I realize that, you know, I'm going to have to probably redo this. You know, it does kind of look janky in a few spots because I am not a professional woodworker by any means. So that being said, you know, there's these kind of spots. So it's definitely not a permanent solution. It's more of a, let me build something and see if I can't make it work for what I want it to do. I think, though, the next time that I do this is probably going to be out of the aluminum tubing stuff that I found. So, a little sliding counter. Not bad. This will be the drawer under the chuck box. So there were two little tabs that I had originally planned to be the stop for the drawer. Well, come to find out, those two tabs were in the way. So, he gone. What was actually happening was the bottom of the drawer was just slightly too long. So now what I'm going to do is put a 2x4 there to stop it. Alright, I've installed the piano hinge right there. And now we have obstacle number 567-302. And that is this. So this goes up, clears that, but does not clear this. So what I'll do is just make quick work of this little corner with my Sawzall. Voila. Now again, not the most beautiful in the world, but now it works. Yeah, just scrapes a little bit. It's alright. Alright, so now that's how the top part of the platform is going to be. It does have a little bit of a flapperoo to it, and we're about to fix that now. So this is the beginning of the chuck box, and to be honest with you, I'm a little lost here. I don't really know how I want to set this thing up. What's going to be the easiest way. Got some stuff in the back there that you can see, but I really don't know. Alright, so the first thing that I did was I created a little section here for the percolator, the little one-person mess kit, my Stanley multi-purpose little cup there. I always pick up these size Folgers for the road, so that'll fit perfect right there. I miscut this board up front because I didn't take an account for this, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave this gap right here. Again, right now I'm just kind of trying to get a feel for this whole thing. It's janky all over the place. I mean, you got stuff like this going on. Yeah. So basically just trying to get a general idea of how I want it all done. Alright, so not too bad. Huh? I got a little piano hinge back here that allows this to go up and down, the top piece here. And I've got it locked out. I just used one of these. I bought two, but I just used one. It's plenty strong enough. Now, what I'm going to do is, this is actually, up underneath here is actually all hollow. So I'm actually going to cut it out so that way I can put my cooking utensils, pots and pans or whatever. Generally all I carry is just a skillet and a griddle. So that's it. That's what we got. Now I've got these handles on there. These handles are horrible, so I'm going to come up with something different. I'm going to clean it up by putting some wood filler over all the screws and screw holes and stuff like that, and then I'm going to finish it with some VOC free filler, so that way we're not getting cancer while sleeping inside the 4Runner, right? Right down here you can see where the screws have gone through. I'm going to fix those. Let's see. And then right here you can see where the screws have gone through. Again, I'm going to clip those off and then just fill it in with some wood filler and make it all clean and pretty. Use some VOC free epoxy and we'll be good to go. That's what we got. Chuck box. Okay, these handles right here that I have actually hurt my hand a good bit whenever I'm trying to lift this thing. So I'm going a different route. I went to Harbor Freight and I got some cheap cheap hole saws. This is 2 inches, which is about what I need. And I'm gonna drill straight into the center and then kind of widen it out from there. And that's gonna be the handles for the chuck box. I don't know what the old saying is about basically function over form. Something about if it looks bad but it's functional, is it a bad deal? Something like that. Anyway, hey, it works. Okay, now what I want to do is I want a spot up underneath where the stove goes that I can slide the pans and all, griddle and whatnot. And so it's going to be right there. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take my little hole saw that I've got and drill right there and drill right over there. And that's going to be the opening. And then I'll probably drill one in the middle and then connect them with the Sawzall. And that's because I don't have a jigsaw. So perhaps whenever I build the final project, it'll have clean edges. This one will not. Alright, so now I've marked where the holes are going to be for the pilot holes. Alright, I've marked each spot where the holes are going to be. Basically what I did was 2 inches off of here. The first one was 1 inch off, and then this is 2 inches, so I'm going to go with the 2 inch mark. That's going to give me ample amount of room, I believe, to stick everything in. So let's go ahead and get started. You know that whole thing about measure twice, cut once, all that? Yeah, well, I thought that I did that, but apparently I didn't. So, rookie mistake. Anyway, getting there. Ultimately, that ended up being a little bit harder than what I thought it was going to be. But it's done. Not nearly as pretty as I had imagined, but it'll work. Now I've made the marks to where I'm going to cut with the Sawzall and go ahead and get that done. Actually, you know what? I might be able to just take the circular saw. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut that with the circular saw. No, I'm not, because the safety is going to drive me insane. Hey, little shoddy cuts. Fits within the theme of the whole entire build. But I got a cubby hole. Looks like something off the Flintstones, like cutting bedrock or something, right? And nonetheless, man. Hey, what do you want from me, huh? So I got these here magnets from off my fridge manure. Glued them right down there in place after I marked up the bottom of my grill with some purple paint. Find out where he's gonna touch. That way it wouldn't slide around. These here magnets are Super 1000 magnets that I got free from some kind of promotional goodie set. Yeehaw! Alright, here's an interesting idea I've come up with. So I've taken apart the Coleman stove, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill holes in each of the little legs here, and I'm going to run these screws through there. These screws are made to attach metal to wood, so hopefully that'll work. And what it's going to do is just keep it to where it won't move around or anything. If you're wondering how I did that, it's these two little clips right there that you have to take apart to get that big metal sheet out. And I took it off to clean it up real good. Got it as clean as I could get it. These just unscrew. These are little heads for it. Cool thing about this Coleman stove is they've been making this Coleman stove for years and years and years and years. And the upgrade to this, I think, is a Triton, which from what I understand is all the same stuff for the most part internally. Looks a little bit different, has a little different casing on it, stuff like that. But whenever you take this apart, as you can see in those previous shots, all it is just two tubes that carry the propane on over to those little nozzles here, and then they come out of the heads, and then that's how you get your propane. That's how you get your fire. There's not really much that you can do on this to make it that much better than the other, unless you're going to change the little regulator or the knobs, or the flow of the propane that you can get. That, to me, would be the only thing that would differentiate a really good propane stove and then just a normal propane stove like this, is how much flame control you have. Now, this particular one is a little cheaper, so it doesn't have that much flame control. It's sufficient enough, but if there was one thing that I would change, it would be that. It would be that I want better flame control. The other reason that I really like this Coleman stove is the fact that if anything ever goes wrong with this stove, it's replaceable at just about anywhere. Or if you just need pieces like that piece there that I had to buy, you can pick those up at nearly any sports store, Walmart, anything like that. So that's another good plus with this stove. Again, they make a little better one with the same internals. It costs more. I think it's called the Triton. The one thing that I do like about the bigger one, though, is it has a wind block technology to get rid of this stuff. I don't know if it really works that much greater. The Cook Partner stoves surely are nice, but man, they're expensive. So for 40 bucks, I don't think you can beat this right here. It's lasted me 2 years, real hard use. Actually longer than 2 years, real hard use. So, and those are the reasons that I have no problem designing the entire kitchen box around this specific stove. Because I know that if this one goes out, I'll probably just end up with another one just like it. Alright, so here's the deal. So I finally got it all done. Again, this is not going to be a permanent situation, okay? This is simply just to get my feet wet, so to speak, in building a camper for the back of the truck. First time I've ever done anything like this. Hell, this is the first time I've even put together a box out of wood. So it's all 100% a learning experience. It does look a little janky, but that's okay because it does work, and it will work. Let me show you what we're working with. So this is how it's going to be. I'm sleeping right here. Chrissy can sleep right here. I've got a drawer underneath. I've still got to put the handle in. This is the chuck box. It slides out just like so. Put it on your table. This slides out and has a little counter space that I've got to sand down, but it'll slide back and forth all the way across. So whenever this is sitting in, you have the counter. As far as the chuck box goes, you have storage here, as well as storage over here, storage in the back for propane canisters, and then the stove is right in the middle. You have a little bit of a work area here to set your spatula down. This will end up getting coated with some sort of, like a countertop material. Underneath here is where you're going to put all your pots, your pans. For me, all I carry is just a cast iron skillet, as well as a cast iron pot or frying pan. So that'll go right there. It's hinged up right here so it won't fall down on you. I am going to get rid of this table and get a different table, a smaller table, that will work out a little bit better for this. Overall, though, I think that it turned out pretty good. I can't wait to try it out. I'm going to 𝗼𝙗 National Forest next weekend, and that'll be the first time that I try it out. I'm hoping that I can get some kind of sealer or some kind of paint or something on it before I go there, so that way I don't mess up the wood. But if I don't, then it'll be all good. Like I said, I'm not really worried about the cosmetics of the entire thing right now, just because of the simple fact that I know that I'm going to be making a ton of different changes to this thing throughout the time that I have it, and I may end up scrapping the whole entire design. So that all being said, the next thing that I have to do is I need to seal it up. I'm contemplating whether or not I want to do an 𝐼𝐶𝐭 is the name of this stuff. It's a VOC-free, kind of like a epoxy type stuff. What I'm worried about is the clearance that I have. I don't have much of an area to work with, so if I go thickening this up in any way, shape, or form, I'm afraid that it won't fit. So I've got that to deal with. The other option is just to throw some like Minwax deck sealer on there and roll with it that way. My only concern about that is the VOCs, because it is in a confined environment And I get it. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but at the same time, you know, if it won't hurt and it might help, might as well try it out, right? So VOC free. It's going to be in a tight confined space. I don't want to have to deal with it, so that's what we're going to do there. As far as the fridge goes, I am going to have to extend the wire a little bit on the fridge in order to let it work, so I still got to do that. So other than that, all I got to do now is just fill it up with all my junk and go camping. Alright, so that's it. I got everything in there, and I have eliminated the Plano boxes. I have elevated the refrigerator. I gave a sleeping platform for Christy and a sleeping platform for myself. It's all totally inclusive. We don't have to leave anything outside if we don't need to, and I think that's going to work out perfect. And I'll put a link in the description here for what I typically carry with me, or what I've carried with me on my 2 major trips. That's everything that I've got with me right now. That's what I've got packed in there, so it works out perfect. Till next time, I appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, share, leave comments. Tell me what I did wrong. I'm sure you guys will. So till next time, peace.